We have somehow gotten to a point in America where we're celebrating mental illness in many different forms, by the way. But it's also the perverse elements that is encouraging mental illness, like telling men they can be women, telling women they can be men if they just mutilate their bodies. So mental illness in our society is abundant. And what we're seeing right now is that we are in the late stage of a cultural disease.
Candace Owens just made one of the most disgusting talking points you'll ever hear. Shortly after Memphis residents experienced a shooting spree that killed 4 people, Owens went on Fox News and suggested gender-affirming care caused the incident.
There is a concerted effort and there is real funding behind making people believe that you need to be compassionate towards criminals. And this is, by the way, the product of what we're seeing when we celebrate in our culture mental illness. That is what is happening.
It's such a smart point. The rise of mental illness is inextricably tied to this.
Then, instead of blaming the actual root cause of gun violence, she pointed to a lack of prisoners.
For whatever reason, people keep thinking that we need to prioritize making sure that the prisons are emptied. Why would we want the prisons to be emptied? In my opinion, what it looks like when you hear these stories is that we don't have enough people in these prisons. If these people were actually in prison, we wouldn't be having these innocent victims killed on the street. These people should be behind bars. We're getting to a point right now where you have to ask the question, are they doing this intentionally? Are these people intentionally trying to destroy America under the guise of compassion? And I think the answer is absolutely they are. Every single person should be telling you that we need to be tougher on crime. And if there's any politician that's standing up there talking about needing to reform the criminal justice system, then there's somebody that you should not be voting for. That is my honest opinion.
Now, while the shooter did have prior convictions, would the shooting have happened if firearms weren't so readily accessible? Tennessee does not require neither background checks on gun purchases or permits for concealed carriers. But for conservatives, that's not the issue.
These are the eyes of some of the mass killers who've reportedly been regular pot users. Look at them.
2 shootings on July 4th, one in a rich white neighborhood and the other at a fireworks display. It almost sounds like it's designed to persuade Republicans to go along with more gun control.
The simple fact is, your Second Amendment rights did not cause this or any other shooting. The greatest cost that comes with a free society is that we run the risk of some people abusing that freedom.
No, it's all about the culture. It's not about the gun. America has a crisis of criminality, does not have a crisis caused by the firearms themselves.
Well, let me tell you this. The marijuana industry is making billions on the lie that weed is fine, no big deal, and even for young people, healthy people, it's great. It could be healthy for you, in fact. So if the media wants to spend time scaring people, focus on scaring young people away from what? What would make sense? What would actually be helpful? Scare them away from using this drug as young people.
Look at Robert Bobby Crimo. Would you sell a gun to that guy? Does he seem like a nutcase? Of course he does. So why didn't anyone raise an alarm? Well, maybe because he didn't stand out. Like Crimo, they inhabit a solitary fantasy world of social media, porn, and video games. They're high on government-endorsed weed. Smoke some more. It's good for you. They're numbed by the endless psychotropic drugs that are handed out at every school in the country by crackpots posing as counselors.